Most of you may have met me before, but I'm Blair from Newbook, working out of our Australian office, but I'm a US salesperson or account executive. I'm a senior account executive here at Newbook. I've been here 6.5 years. So I'd imagine that a few of you have met me before. Just a couple of things of housekeeping. We will leave you on mute today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free, just pop them in the chat, and we'll sort of address them at the Q&A session a little later on. But we will have someone sort of managing that. So please feel free to ask any questions you want in there, but we do ask to leave yourself on mute. Another thing, we're just going to, just a little things about terminology with the people. We have mostly outdoor hospitality people with us. There'll be some people who have roofed accommodation, some people who don't, some people who are more focused on glamping. We will sort of interchangeably say charge back to site or charge back to room or words along those lines. It's all very much the same. It's just a change in terminology. So don't take too much offense to that one. And the other thing is this will all be bundled up and shared sort of post this session. All this content will be delivered to you in an email, plus also put up on our LinkedIn and social channels on YouTube, so you can get there. So just covering that across, just I suppose return on investment for your time today. We just want to sort of cover across what you can expect to take away from this session. So obviously learn more about point of sale systems in general and why we want to integrate them. Learn a little bit more about Venue Sumo, specifically for the product, and just a couple of little tips and tricks that you might be able to take away with you today, regardless of what you're using. Without, I suppose, any further delay, I'd just like to welcome Venue Sumo. Brett, if you just want to sort of introduce yourself, who are you and what do you do? And then a little bit about Venue Sumo itself.
Oh, hey Blair, thanks so much for having me this afternoon. And hi, hello to everyone out there who's listening. So yeah, my name is Brett Melville, and I'm the managing director and one of the founders of Venue Sumo. So basically, we help business owners make it as easy as possible for their campgrounds and parks to sell more products, basically. So we've got an integrated point of sale and ticketing platform, which is a little bit more of an advanced point of sale system, which lets venue managers, sell more of their food, drinks, retail items, time-based tickets, and if they actually have birthday parties on campgrounds, you can actually manage those birthday parties as well. So it's a little bit of a different point of sale, but that's how we help our customers.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm just going to flick across, and I suppose we'll rip in now. I suppose in generic terms, why would a campground, RV park, why have a POS over any other system you might have? And if you've got a POS, why do we say that integration is so important?
Yeah, good question. So with a point of sale, it's really important that you've actually got those areas in your campground or RV park or glamping site that you can actually sell products to your captive guests that you've got walking around. So with a point of sale, it's going to make it as easy as possible for one guest to buy more products while they're on site. But also, too, importantly, with the point of sale and the software and the programs, it's actually going to help your staff sell those products more easily. From the staff point of view, you're going to have a really easy to use interface that's going to help them understand and sell the products that you have. And then from a guest point of view, you're going to be actually make it easier for them to buy by offering many different ways of payment. So whether it is on that charge to site functionality, using cash or using card, whatever their preferred method of payment it is available to them to make it as easy as possible for that guest to do that transaction with you. In terms of the integration piece, that solution means that the guests who's forgotten their wallet, it's back at their campsite, or they don't have cash on them, can still make a purchase when they want to, even if they don't have their cash or their card available to them at that point of view. The integration will also mean that there's no more sort of manual dockets, Blair. They don't have to sort of write down, someone's ordered a burger and it has to go to, site number 22, and there's a manual docket. And then when the person checks out, they have to sort of add that onto the the checkout check at the end of their stay. So there's no more sort of missing manual dockets. It's all automated through our system, and the integration means it'll be sitting in their Newbook account when they go to check out at the end of their stay.
Excellent, excellent. So covering across all of your, no lost revenue, no leakage in revenue from that point of view as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully like capturing more revenue too. So with those more opportunities around your park to actually make a purchase.
So when we think of your customer base that you sort of got there, and you're considering what can you share a success story with us, like sort of what someone was doing before, and the before and after photo, I suppose, in really broad terms.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, first of all, like just not being able to offer the full suite of payment options to people was meaning that one of our customers was in the Carolinas. I think they were basically like they were missing out on sales. So people would come up, they'd try and check out, and they actually couldn't. So they'd actually lose out on that sale completely. So they've noticed an increase of around 20 to 25% in sales from having that ability to have the point of sale there and offer more payment solutions. And also with the people that have sort of switched on the integrated side, they maybe had a point of sale before, but they couldn't charge through the room. They didn't have that option available. They've also noticed an increase in sales and like less payment processing in terms of double up of the payments. Because the transactions going through once, it sort of makes that more efficient as well from a processing point of view.
So that was like a 20% increase just purely from the allowing the customers to pay the way they wanted to pay, or the way they could pay, just literally opening it up to, making it more easily accessible.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I've just seen a few questions pop through in the chat and come up. I'm not sure if they came through from people. We will absolutely cover them all across in the Q&A session just at the end, just so anyone thinks I'm not ignoring them and running through there. So just to cover across that. So we talked about, the little bit of success and things that people will have bringing those systems on. If we think generically about point of sale systems, so not so much just Venue Sumo, but generically about it, what are like three sort of, I suppose, key strategies you'd like to point out to people? Hey, you should probably do, these three things just to ensure that you're getting the most out of your POS system.
Yeah, great question. So I think it really comes back to your setup of your point of sale in terms of how your product present to your actual own staff. So what I find with a lot of campgrounds is they've got a lot of seasonal staff that are sort of moving in and out, and maybe there's not a lot of time for training. With a really well set up point of sale, you're going to be able to basically have your add-ons and upgrades and upsells super obvious to your staff. So basically they'll click on one button when someone orders a burger, and it'll pop up automatically and say, would you like to add fries? Would you like to add a drink? Would you like to add sides to that order? So it actually forces your staff member to basically read out those upsells to the customer so that they can progress through the checkout. So having a point of sale that like is easy for your operators to pick up really quickly, but also easy for you to have your upgrades and upsells in there so you can, increase those average order values on your sales that you're putting through. We touched on like the multiple payment methods. Like not everyone wants to pay on card. Not everyone wants to pay on charge to site. Some people still want to be able to actually pay in cash because they like to hold cash. They like to be able to hand over cash. So having that, cash draw available, as well as the card facilities, as well as the charge to room, is going to be a big one to make sure you're capturing the whole market of the different payment transactions. The other one is, I would say, like RFID wristbands are becoming really popular, Blair, in terms of different accommodation venues that are using them and handing them out to guests. If you've got a system that can allow that charge to site to actually happen via the wristband, like there's no sort of human interaction in terms of verification and validation of that person actually staying in that site, and they can just tap on, they put in their order in the point of sale and tap their wristband. That's a really great strategy it just makes it easy for the customer as well, right? They don't they don't feel like they're being interrogated, like what room am I staying in, and like what's my name and what's my email and my phone number, and they can just sort of put that order straight through to their room.
Yeah, so interesting that the same sort of common theme we sort of spoke about, making things easy for staff to know what they're doing and upsell, making it easy for people to pay different payment methods and making it easy to, I suppose, charge back to site through the wristband. It's all around that common theme is ease of use, right? Less barriers to entry to make purchases and buy and add on those extras and sort of increase that. So when we're thinking about those things and making life easy, if you think specifically about Venue Sumo now, if I'm Philip or Russell or Mina and there, and I say, well, like, why you? What are the three things? Why would I pick Venue Sumo over another system? Where do you differ? Because there's a lot of, even Newbook, we integrate with a lot of different point of sale systems. Why Venue Sumo?
Yeah, great question. So I think we feel like we're the next sort of generation of point of sale in terms of, and there's a few different reasons for that. So we are cloud-based. So very similar to Newbook, you basically just need a device and an internet connection, and you can run our point of sale system. So for a lot of venues that are using Newbook in particular, they can actually have one computer that's sitting at a front desk reception or in a camp store or like some sort of retail outlet, and on one tab, they could have Newbook open and they could be processing their Newbook payments. And on the next tab, they could actually have their point of sale sitting there as well, and they can flick between the two. So that's a big advantage. So you're not having to buy so basically people call that like hardware agnostic. We won't force you to go and buy, $3,000 worth of kit that you must have to run our point of sale. It can literally run on a laptop if you really wanted it to. So being hardware agnostic means you've got the flexibility to use the device you want as well. So some people have like a nice Hewlett Packard all-in-one point of sale terminal, like nice heavy bit of hardware. Some people are running it on laptops, desktop computers, like Microsoft Surface Pros, like Galaxy tablets. We've even got one of our good customers, one of your customers too, Blair, that's using a Chromebook. Right, they just love their Chromebook. They open their Chrome browser, they type in their unique URL for their point of sale, and they can make purchases off that. And it's all linked to like whatever printer they've got, and the payment terminal that they have via Newbook as well. So you can utilize the same hardware that you're using for Newbook in terms of payments and like monitors and screen and devices to run our point of sale, which is a big difference compared to some of the other point of sales. And then we also have a few, because of our background in like family entertainment center land and in terms of like online booking of time-based tickets as well as booking of birthday parties, we have that suite sitting there for those campgrounds that need that. So not everyone needs that, but it is sitting there to bring in if you do have that requirement.
So from just getting back to the one for the hardware before, because you don't need that, I suppose, as you said, that robust, bulky POS system, that I suppose allows the opportunity not just to sell at whether it be the store or the restaurant or whatever it might be, that you could actually have staff members selling out in the park, right?
Yeah, so as long as you've got internet connection around the park and you can still connect in, you could actually walk around to campgrounds and actually take orders from them, and it'll push that docket back to the kitchen, and then your staff at the campground can sort of walk it back out if you wanted to. The other point to make, Blair, is our point of sale is actually very low cost as well. So like the monthly cost of having a couple of point of sale terminals from our software is relatively inexpensive as well. So there's that piece around Venue Sumo that sort of stands it apart.
So I guess that's from your monthly fee, but given that you can run on any hardware or an existing computer, you don't have that startup cost for purchasing that hardware either.
Correct. Correct. So you can get up and running relatively quickly. And if you don't have devices, you've got the choice in terms of what you prefer. Ideally, something with a touch screen so you can like press things in. So something like a Samsung Galaxy tablet or a Microsoft Surface Pro is perfect to get you like up and running in a couple of minutes.
It- Complete question without notice, because you just said something you can onboard fairly quickly.
Yep.
Ballpark wise, if someone today just went to you and said, "Hey, we love the product, that's great." I know I'm asking how long is a piece of string, but generally, how long does it take to onboard a client?
Yeah, so it does depend on how complicated your setup is in terms of like product sets and in terms of how many point of sales you have. If you have a relatively simple setup of maybe 200 or 300 products, and it's the same set of products at each point of sale, we could probably get you up and running in sort of 3 weeks. But allow a little bit longer if you've got, like you got like a grill and a restaurant and a, activity shack, and you've got a merchandise store and a camp store, or like if you've got lots of different configurations, it can take us a little bit longer.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do now, and everyone, if you can just bear with me for a second, I'm going to drag my other screen across. We're going to do a little bit of a weird thing. We're going to run through the demo, but I'm going to be running it for Brett, and Brett's going to speak to it. So we'll see if we can't get all this timed really quite nicely. But here we go. I'm going to go hit this again, and we'll make this full screen, and away we go. Let me know if you need to pause it, Brett.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so Venue Sumo is not just a point of sale, but it's an all-in-one venue system. So it's made up of 3 different areas. We've got the point of sale, our online ticket booking area, where you can have your time-based tickets, and then you're going to have your back office, which has got all your dashboards and settings and reports and that sort of thing. So if we jump back to the point of sale, you can see here I've got a setup with drinks, and you can see all my product pictures there, and I've got a lot of different categories down the left-hand side. So I've got my main categories on the left, and then on the right-hand side, you've got the subcategories. So if we stop here in drinks, you can see we've got alcohol, barista drinks, and then all my different products that are sitting within those categories. So you can customize all those photos, and what you're seeing here is actually like the attributes. So do you want to actually go back there and just pause for a second, Blair? Sorry.
Absolutely. Let me just pause there and jump back. Ooh.
So yeah, there we go. So if you just pause there. So
Yep.
this person has clicked on the cafe latte, and then it's prompted the user to actually ask the guest, do they want small, medium, or large? Like which milk do they want? And if there's any other common add-ons. So this can save a lot of time in terms of if there's a lot of modifying or attributes that people are constantly adding to orders, your staff aren't having to type them into the notes for the kitchen. And 2, it actually just helps them with the guest and actually prompt them to say, what size would you like? You've ordered the cafe latte, you can have small, medium, or large. What milk changes would you like, and what add-ons would you like? So it's a very useful function. Think about this, it could be like a burger, like with the fries and drink add-on as well. There's lots of different applications for this, but this is a great feature
So
that
this
you
is, I
can have.
suppose, what you spoke about before, where rather than your staff having to remember, or especially seasonal staff coming in and having to go to another screen and drilling down, it's just prompting them on a natural way just to go through that workflow.
Yeah, absolutely. So not make it as easy as possible. Just hit play.
Yep.
If you need to, though, you can add those custom notes to a product too. So there might be like a very unusual order. Brett wants it extra, extra hot. So you could put that in there, and it's going to push through to that docket. So you can park orders if you want. So parking an order, someone might, want to look around the store a bit longer, but they've got their order there, and you can still serve the next person, put through an order, and then retrieve that order that they've put through. So we're putting through another order here on cash, and they've given us a 20, and that payment's gone through, $11 change. Thanks for coming. And you can see here that there's pinning. So we're pinning back into our order. So every order we've got, we'll know who did it. So if we're noticing like strange occurrences in orders, we can check on that staff member, or if they're making a lot of mistakes, we can also go back and retrain that staff member. to make sure that they're doing the job correctly. You can also add contact details to an order. So people might want to get an email of a receipt of that order. So you can put those things in there, those details in there. And this also gives us the ability for the larger groups, Blair, to be able to connect up to their rewards programs. If you've got like a larger group, this functionality allows that sort of piece to occur.
Excellent.
You can also add in table stand numbers, and you can also put, which it could be like a buzzer or like a stand, and they go out to the table, and then the food comes out to them. You can also add notes to the overall order too. It doesn't have to be at the product level. There's lots of different discounts you can have sitting in there. So you can have preset ones, or you might have a discount code as part of a promotion that people can tell the operator and they can key in. And then you can obviously manually discount as well if, maybe there's a damaged box or something's happened on the service and you want to add a discount there. This is supervisor PIN restricted, so not everyone can add a discount to an order. So you're not going to have
just on that as well, so that is a permission-based thing. You don't have to just give everyone access to that.
Correct. Because you don't probably want all of your operators just handing out discounts to their mates. So yeah, so when you go to the checkout here, you can see there's various different payment methods. So we've got card, cash, you can even have gift cards. You can have tabs if you want to run tabs. And then there's our charge to room or charge to site functionality, which is the piece that's integrated with Newbook. So pay to card, basically once you click pay in full there, it'll push automatically through to that payment terminal to light up and they can present their card. Pay with cash will basically ask for the tendered amount. You can click on the bills themselves, or you can actually type it in. There might be a gift card that's been purchased that they want to use. And then we have the tabs. So you might want to run up tabs for people. Not as many campgrounds use this functionality. It's more for the family entertainment centers and the parties. And then we've got our charge to room functionality here. So basically it'll suck in from Newbook all of your rooms. You might ask them, what was your room number? Or you could ask them what their name was, and you could search through, because a lot of people have got lots of different rooms. And you can also use the scanner. So if you do have that RFID functionality to your rooms, also to your site numbers, they could actually scan at this point right here. And then that'll push through to that charge to their room straight away. So that's a scanning thing, and it just validates that point. And instead of interrogating them and sort of quizzing them on what their name is and their email and their phone number, you're actually you've got that data straight away. So you can push that through there. Point of sale also lets you look at your past orders really quickly. So just on that left-hand side, there's an orders section, and you could see an order that we just did then, and the discounts we put on there, and you can reprint the receipt if you wanted to. You can, if there's a counter docket, so the docket that went to the kitchen, so my latte would have gone as a docket for someone to actually fulfill that order. And you can see all my notes there. So you can quickly look for those past orders if there's a change you need to make, or maybe like a refund you want to do. Okay, so then next thing that it'll show you should be the stock. So our system has inventory counting and stock management as part of it as well. So it's perfect for running like a retail store where you really want to keep an eye on your levels of inventory. So if I show you in my store here, on the right-hand side, there's a little blue number. So that number is actually an inventory level. So the inventory levels will show in the point of sale, as well as in the back end in all the stock on hand reporting. So you can keep an idea on your inventory levels to help you with your reordering and purchasing patterns for your business. There's my extra nuggets on my chicken nuggets. So that's like another example of an add-on there. So you can sort of ask them, oh, do you want an extra chicken nugget for $2 or whatever the price is there. All right. And this is just showing the kitchen docket on that nugget. So it not only just prints a receipt, but it prints that particular item to go out to the printer. This is just the time-based tickets that are showing at the moment. So in the point of sale, you might want to sell activity tickets. Some venues want to do that, not all of them. And there is the ability to use waivers as well in store if that's something if you have like outside guests coming in, that can be useful.
So for your day visitors or day passes and things along those lines.
Yeah. So they're paid with cash here, $100, $82 change. And then we've got the scanner mode too. So a lot of camp stores, like this won't be appropriate.
If I could just go, I think there was a question, I just saw it pop up a while back, but for whomever asked a question about scanner integration, just absolutely. So we're just covering across that now. That's the functionality we're about to show here.
Yeah, do you want to just tick back 5 seconds and pause for me, Blair? Yeah, almost.
Go back another 5. There we are.
Yeah, there we go. So the first mode we were showing you with had all the pictures of the products is like a touchscreen type mode, which you can default to, or you can default to the scanner mode as well. And you can switch between the two. So you can see Blair's got it toggled on in the green up there. So basically, if you've got a retail store and people are bringing up, 5, 10, 15 items, and you've got that, 2D, 3D scanner, you'll basically just have your SKUs or barcodes loaded into the back end of the system. And you can, someone's calling it a beep boop the other week to me. So you can beep those items in, and they're going to add to the checkout as you're clicking on that scanner there. So if you've got that retail offering, that's going to be really suitable to you.
Or that sort of more, I suppose, camp store supermarket kind of thing where they're just going to go through like a lot of items in pretty quick succession.
Correct. We've also got a return mode, which I don't think many other point of sales have. So what that allows is refunds to the charge to room. So someone's purchased something, they come back in a couple of minutes and say, oh, actually, I want to swap it over. So maybe it's like changing over sizes, or they actually just want to return an item and you allow that. So that return will push that return message back to Newbook correctly. The other part of our system is the back office. So this has got all your reports, all your settings of your products and the setups of your products. So you can see here, we're in the back end of the products. If we go to, we'll look for the latte, I think here. You can see like a list of all the different products there. So I've got my latte, and you can see there I've got my picture, which is the same as what's in the point of sale. I've got my cost. There's my latte, $4.50, and that is sitting in the barista drinks area, and it had a sort of certain tax grouping on it as well. Our back office is all mobile responsive. So if you don't happen to be on a laptop or a desktop computer, but you're on your phone and you're not working on site that day, you can actually check in and see how the stores are performing on your phone. So just a little bit of a handy feature there for, there's managers that aren't on site.
Excellent. I'll just jump back onto our other screen. So just covering across, I suppose, a few bits of functionality as we go through there. So look, really appreciate sort of, I suppose, the insight and showing us sort of the functionality of that program and being pretty wide. For a couple of those people who just entered late, not a problem. This will all be packaged up and be delivered to you in a nice little content dump a little bit later. So don't feel like you've missed out at all. I suppose just time for you to take, if there was like 3 key points that you wanted people to take away from sort of that demo and what you'd had to say, what would, before we get into the Q&A session, what would you hope that people would take away just from this little session today?
I mean, just make it as easy as possible for your staff to sell more products. It is as simple as I can put it, I think, Blair. Like if you've got your point of sales positioned around your campground or RV park, you're gonna increase your average order value of and capture more revenue from the people that are visiting your site. And if you can make your point of sale configuration as simple as possible for your staff to pick up easily, and two, like allow them to upgrade and sell more products, it's all gonna lead back to increasing revenue for your site. So if you can do those two things, have more point of sales and have an easy setup, an easy to use point of sale, it's just gonna increase the revenue of your business.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Brett, you've got a little QR code there. Just if you want to let people know what's hidden behind that one.
If you you can talk directly to me, Blair. So if you want to book in a session with me and hear more about point of sales or hear more about how Venue Sumo works at Newbook, happy to have a chat with you and see what questions you've got and try and help you out if we can.
Excellent. Excellent. And any questions? So let's just, because there are quite a few
at the start, I think. Yeah.
Generally, this is frighteningly quiet. So I'm excited that you all sort of really got stuck in to participate today. So let's just go from the top. Credit card processor. Who is it?
Yep. So it's a very friendly Janice out at Chosen Payments in Utah. It can also use Newbook payments as well. So you can use your Newbook payment terminals. If you need additional terminals, you can use basically the same provider. So you can work with the same people, and I believe it's the same statements as well. So it's sort of all integrated on the card payment side of things as well. I can also see that I think it was.
I was going to say this gets to the second one, which is talking about the credit card fees. Are they into Newbook or using Newbook's credit card processing? Philip, both options are available. So you can have all the same processor, the same hardware, the same billing, or you can separate it off. It's really down to the client's choice. Next one, Brett, is your POS system good for a store and a cafe?
Definitely. Yeah. So we have the ability, like the needs of a store are typically around that inventory tracking and the scanning piece. And then a cafe, sometimes they've got like, a little bit of a separate kitchen or a separate coffee machine from the actual counter. So you can route those dockets to print in different places if you need to, or they can print at the counter as well if it's sort of like more of a one-person cafe where they're sort of serving and creating the orders as well. So yeah, definitely.
I think you've covered this question, but it's nice just to cover the Q&A because I know that most people that will watch back to this video might just skip to the end and do the Q&A. So do you have barcode scanner ability? Do you have the ability to integrate a barcode to scan items?
Yeah, so you can definitely scan products as well as you can touch screen them in as well by just pressing on them and finding them in the categories. You can also search for products too with a keyboard.
And quick one, has the system been thoroughly tested so we don't see duplicate sales transactions? Now, this is something we see across the environment. I think particularly everyone's just gone through 4th of July and is probably still catching their breath. Sometimes there's lags in systems and duplicate items can come through, especially when systems are under load. Do you just want to speak to your system and how that handles?
Yeah, so it doesn't allow duplicates. It's sort of, there's fail safes in there for it to cut after receiving a transaction once. So you won't see duplicates. If you do have internet cutting off though, you will need to like have backup internet connections. So a lot of our customers have got like a broadband connection as like a main point, and then they'll have like, it's probably similar to what Newbook needs them to do, and then it has like a 5G cutover if the broadband goes down. So that's just the only thing I would recommend there.
So this question, I'm not sure if you might have to take it back or take it away. I actually have no visibility on this question again, but checks. Are you batching your checks day by day? So when you're going through is each check being set through the Newbook individually? Why he asked is Newbook only deposits per check, and that's not how the businesses want to see the checks deposited into the bank. I think that's an excellent question. I've got no idea, Philip. We might have to come back to you on that one about how that process is, just to get a little bit of that language for you. down correct, unless you've got any further insight into that one, Brett.
I think I'm trying to understand the question, but I think it's like every single, if you're talking about Venue Sumo POS transactions moving to Newbook, it's every single line item is moving into Newbook. And it's as it's done. It's not done in like it's not done end of day or anything like that. It's like, it'd be 5 or 6 seconds after it's actually occurred in Venue Sumo, it'll push through to Newbook.
Philip, what we'll do is we'll
I'm
have
not sure if
someone.
that's the question though, Blair.
We might have someone reach out to you and just sort of cover across that question a little bit more in depth, so we actually understand exactly. Can you have multiple tax codes in the system, Brett?
Yes. So typically we're seeing out of North American clients like a food tax, like a food taxable group. There might be like a more standard state plus local taxes group. There can be like a whole tax exempt group. So yeah, there is the flexibility to have taxes set up, and the taxes can be split into state, local, I think it's district, and then there's like a special tax as well. So there's 4, you can build a tax as part of 4 different rates as well. So yeah, absolutely.
So it's quite flexible that you can adapt to whatever market you're in.
Correct. Yep. So yeah, we've got lots of different states covered at the moment.
Question about payment types. I see card, cash, and account charge back to room, but it doesn't see check. So in the old traditional paper check, can we set that up as a payment type?
Yeah, so we can add in check as a payment type if you need that for your store. Absolutely.
Okay. Krista, a quick question. Do you have any reporting for inventory for on hand for specific dates? So I imagine this might be going back into the past to seeing how much stock you had on that date, so you can sort of, I suppose, more predict future needs and future loads of stock. Like, oh, hang on 4th of July, I'm likely to sell 100 t-shirts or 40 caps or something. So you can look back. Can you see what stock levels were on specific dates?
Yeah, so we've got a stock on hand reporting, and you can change the different dates. It also has like a quite handy color code on it as well. So you can set on your inventory items like a low quantity warning. So if an item is set at 10 and you've only got 8 in stock, it'll actually start burning red on that report. So it'll really highlight to you that, hey, this item is now below your surplus, your low quantity warning. You should maybe think about putting through a purchase order for that item, or you can overlay it, right? Like with human intelligence, like, oh, actually we're towards the end of the season. Let's just hang back on ordering more because we're probably not going to sell anymore.
No. Another one. So can you use a barcode scanner for putting things into inventory?
No, but we've got that on request at the moment. So someone else has asked for that as well. So we have stock receipting definitely in the back office where you've got your box of inventory that's come in from your supplier, and they've sent you 15 different items. We've got the ability to put that in at the moment, and you can basically start typing in your barcodes and it'll pull back the inventory level. So it's as quick as it can be for the moment, but we are adding a scan function. So you'll be able to basically click a scan mode, scan the barcode when you're connected to that device. And you're going to be able to actually stock receipt. You still have to type in the amounts, but you're going to be able to stock receipt in the items.
Question from Krista is, we've got stock management, input, output, and damaged items reporting. I guess, do they exist?
Yep. So we've got all the stock transactions have got like very detailed reporting on that. Inputting would be the stock receipting. Outputting might be, if it's like a multi-location business, outputting might actually be transferring between venues possibly. But it also might be like a damaged stock or a lost stock that you want to basically take out of inventory.
Or perishable.
Yeah, or it expires, exactly. So that's something you can like process through the system.
Excellent. How are support hours? So how's your support hours run there, Brett?
Yeah, so we're 7 days a week. All of our customers are the busiest on Saturdays and Sundays. We have a help desk with a ticketed support system where you can send through your questions there. we actually do the migrations for you and with you. So we help really support you during onboarding. And then we actually schedule 3 weeks of training post launch as well, just to really make sure you and your team are comfortable with how to use Venue Sumo. And we find that works really well in terms of, getting people up to speed. Like sometimes people just maybe hang back on questions because they're like a bit scared to ask. But it gives you the opportunity to ask any questions you have. Make sure you really know how to process any of the transactions that you need to, and be really confident in using our system. And then hopefully you don't really need too much support after that.
Is there an option to allow guests to order items online?
Ooh, great question, Cindy. So we're actually finalizing QR code ordering at the moment, or online ordering. So that's going to be really useful in 2 different ways. So one, we foresee for a lot of the campgrounds actually having a QR code at every site. And it'll basically bring up your menu from your, camp kitchen or general store. And they can order those items in there, and it'll ping your desk to say like, hey, someone's put through an order, and maybe it's a burger, or maybe they need toothpaste or whatever it is, and then you can actually deliver it out to the site. So it's in final development at the moment. It's probably 1 to 2 months away. So that's something that's coming that we're really excited about.
Question from Mina is the revenue reporting integrated as well? So will sales show in the Newbook reporting?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Starting to run a little bit at full time, but for anyone still on or in the chat, if there's any last questions, please fire them through. But if not, Brett, really appreciate you spending some time with us today and running through. If I just roll back, if there's anyone that wishes to contact Brett or reach out, there's the QR code there on screen. Don't be afraid to do that. He's a nice enough guy. He won't bite. One last one from Christina. Any ideas on costs? Look, I think that's probably a bit of a depends on how many terminals, how many sites and things you've got there.
Have a chat with us, Krista, and we can figure out the pricing for your venue depending on what your needs are.
I will say it's relatively straightforward pricing, so it would only take a sort of 5-10 minute chat with Brett, and he'll be able to give you a pretty sharp ballpark price on that. It's not overly complicated.
Absolutely.
Look, appreciate everyone's time today. If anyone wants any more information or anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to either myself or anyone on the Newbook team. We will be sending out a bit of correspondence after this, including some questions. So even if you want to come back to us, we can put you in touch with Brett. Appreciate you all for spending some time with us today. Cheers.
Thanks, Blair.